If you're a PhD student doing a qualitative project and you're in the middle of analysing your data or writing up, but you find yourself second guessing whether what you've done is actually rigorous or defensible, this video's for you. Many qualitative PhD researchers reach a point where things start to feel a bit unstable. When they start to feel a bit unstable, you might find yourself thinking, are my themes actually valid? Have I done enough data collection? Why isn't any of this clear? And often these doubts only become more pronounced the further you get into the PhD, not less. But in most cases, this isn't because you're not doing your research properly. It's because you're trying to evaluate your research based on a set of standards that belong to a completely different research tradition. In the 20 years that I've been supporting qualitative researchers, I've seen this come up a lot. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 common concerns that often emerge during analysis and writing up. And I'm going to explain what they reveal about how qualitative research actually works. Because once you understand the underlying logic, this all becomes a lot simpler. Let's get into it. Number 1, is my research actually rigorous enough? This question often becomes more intense during the writing up phase because that's where you've got to explain and justify what you've done. Many researchers reach this point and start to feel like their qualitative research isn't robust enough. This usually comes from an assumption about what rigour is supposed to look like. In quantitative research, rigour is often associated with things like measurement, control, and validation. Qualitative research operates differently. It's more concerned with things like meaning, experience, interpretation, transparency, reflexivity. So we're talking about a different kind of rigour here. For example, as a qualitative researcher, when you're analysing interviews, you're not trying to extract a single objective truth from them. You're developing an interpretation of how participants understand their experiences. And you're explaining that interpretation in a structured, transparent way. That is a different form of rigour, but it is still rigour. Number 2, why does this still feel so unclear? This one also becomes quite noticeable during analysis and writing. You expect that by this point, things should feel more settled. But instead, they can feel quite foggy and slippery and uncertain and unstable. And that can create the feeling that something has gone wrong. But in most cases, it hasn't. Because qualitative research is not a linear process, it's an iterative one. You move between literature and data and interpretation. You revisit earlier decisions, you refine your thinking. You come to see things differently over time. And this does not mean that you're going around in circles, as much as it might feel that way. It means that you are simply in the process of developing a better understanding of all of the things going on in and around your research. The structure and the order that you will eventually develop happens through that process, not before it, okay? So that process is an absolutely essential part of your PhD journey. The mess is necessary. Structure emerges through it, not before it. Number 3, how do I know that my themes are right? This question appears normally after you've already developed some themes from your data. You've done the coding, you've identified patterns, you developed some themes, but you step back and you're like, are they actually right? This concern comes from the assumption that there is a single correct set of themes hidden in the data, and they're just waiting for you to discover them. Qualitative analysis doesn't work that way. Themes are not discovered. Themes do not emerge. They are the result of engagement with the data, interpretive judgment, conceptual thinking. You are identifying patterns across accounts and making sense of them in relation to your research focus. Different researchers could interpret the same data set in different ways. The goal is not to eliminate that. The goal is to make your reasoning clear and defensible. Rigor comes from how you develop and justify your interpretation. It doesn't come from arriving at the right answer, because there isn't one right answer. Number 4, have I done enough data collection? This question tends to come up after data collection is complete. You start to look at your data set and you wonder, should I have done more interviews? And again, this often reflects a quantitative assumption. In qualitative research, the focus is not on quantity alone. Instead, it's on things like depth and insight and explanatory power. A useful question to ask is this: is my data sufficient to support the interpretations I'm making? What matters is whether your analysis is grounded and well supported, not how large the data set is in absolute terms. Number 5, there's too much data and I don't know what to do with it. This is a very common experience. Qualitative data overwhelm. You might be working with hundreds of pages of interview transcripts, extensive notes, and multiple data sources. You can start to feel like, how on earth am I supposed to turn this into something coherent? And this isn't a sign that you've created a problem. It's a reflection of the depth that qualitative research produces. You are not expected to use everything, okay? You're expected to work selectively, to identify what matters, what is conceptually relevant, what contributes to your argument, and to build a structured interpretation from that. Being selective is a really important part of the analytical work, not trying to cram absolutely everything in. Bringing this all together, when you step back, all of these concerns point to the same underlying issue. You are probably evaluating your work using the wrong criteria. Qualitative research has its own logic, its own standards of rigor, its own way of producing knowledge. And when you start to understand those things and get confident in them, things become a lot simpler. If, through watching this video, this is starting to click and you're starting to look at your qualitative research in a slightly different way, you might find this helpful. It's my free guide on what it means to be a qualitative researcher. The qualitative researchers I've worked with have found it quite helpful in terms of reminding themselves of the core principles, the core ideas, and having something to come back to when things feel a little bit wobbly. So I will link to it in the description. Go and grab a copy.